Thank you very much for joining this call once again. My name is Veronica Lipucci Di Paola, PMS co-product owner with Marcos Fernandez Comics. Today, for those who just connected, we are here to provide you information on how to access and navigate PMS PUI, provide you a training on the news also that we have to share, we would like to share today with you. And to start, we have prepared an agenda for you. So we will be waiting for a couple of more minutes to allow everybody to connect. But in the meantime, I will be presenting the agenda. So today we're gonna guide you through a brief overview on PMS PUI and PMS API. So the two ways to connect to the PMS database that has currently gone live last Friday. Then we're going to pass and move to explain to you how to access the PMS product user interface hosted in the PLM portal. We will be moving down to a little demo to show you how to navigate through the pages of the product user interfaces, how to connect, and how to access all the reports that we're being developed for you. Then we will be explaining to you which are the next steps that we plan for the next quarter over this year and beyond. And also there will be a 25-minute session of question and answers where, of course, you can have the freedom to submit your questions and we will be able to give you live answers. Last but not least, we will be having a brief section on the closing activities, and then we will be releasing on the EMA website the recording of this webinar. So, colleagues, for your information, please be aware that this section is being recorded and will be also made available through the EMA website in the usual links, but also via the YouTube channels, the official EMA channel in YouTube. So you will be granted the possibility to ask questions if you have. For that, we have, as usual, set up Slido, which is a tool where you can submit your question. You can access Slido, and you also send us comments or questions either on voluntary basis, but also can also be anonymous. So if you decide to remain anonymous, you just don't need to submit your name. If you decide instead to include your names in your questions, please feel free to do so. But please be aware that you are giving also the consent to process your personal data as explained in the EMA data privacy statement available in Slido. Relating how to request Slido questions, please use this QRD code that is displayed here on the page, on the main screen. You can also use the hashtag PMS/training all in capitals, and you will be automatically directed to the page where you can submit your questions. Questions will be made available at the end of the section of this training and will be moderated based on a priority level assigned. So if you have any question, you can also vote, and based on the highest level and highest rate being assigned, the question will be answered in a priority based. We won't be able to reply to every question. So for these reasons, we will do our best to address the answers in write, and you will be still having the access to see the answers that we have been provided. Nevertheless, we have been reserved 25 minutes, so we decided to give you more time to any question you may have for these specific occasions. And please feel free to submit it. Regarding the scope of this webinar, as I explained in the previous agenda, we will be giving you an overview of the PUI and PMS API tools. So the PUI is a product user interface hosted in the PLM portal, while the PMS API is the PMS application programming interface, the so-called machine-to-machine connection. We will provide you information regarding how to request the relevant rules in PMS and how to access the PUI. We will guide you through the pages of the product user interfaces, and we will be giving you a few news on which are the next steps that we foresee over these months. So to start with the overview of the PUI and PMS API, as you may be aware, we have been communicated this on Friday morning. As of Friday, 31st of May this year, we have released successfully PMS. So PMS is finally alive for external use for any registered use via IAM. And the main groups that can be access PUI and PMS are the EU regulators, or any authority, EMA, NCAs across Europe, marketing authorization holders, but also the general public. As you may be aware, we have released Chapter 5 that explains the level of accessibility based on each stakeholder's roles, but also the updated version of Chapter 1, where we explain the specific process to request the role for the specific group, each one of them. As you also may be aware, PMS is now live with more than 4,500 centrally authorized products, and PMS is also live with more than 400,000 NAPs, so non-centralized products, which can be nationally authorized products, MRP, or DCP authorized products. The difference is that we have been able to migrate successfully in PMS all of these products as authorized from Article 57 database, so-called XBMPD, and also from SciMed. The first tool that you will be able to access, as you can see at the bottom right, is the PUI. So in PUI, you will be able to access centrally authorized products only. But PMS will later in July release also the PMS API, where is already containing more than 400,000 NAPs. So for the moment, we already have for internal use the PMS caps and NAPs products for internal use only, and you can access the caps via the PUI. In a month's time, you will be able to also access the PMS API, where you can see all your caps and NAPs products, so basically everything. All the medicinal products that have been successfully migrated are the authorized products, and you can read for the moment via the PUI the information that we have structured in a standardized and ISO-DMP compatible way. So this is the big achievement that we want to announce today. As I was explaining, the first tool that we really encourage you to access is the PLM PUI pages, where you can already see all your information. This is just an example in a screenshot, but Marcos later in this webinar will show you in live how this is look like. And you can see, as I said, the CAPS products. You can see all the pages that we have been creating, all the information, the PMS IDs that have been correctly structured. For your information, you will be noticed that there are few empty information, few empty fields, and these fields are exactly the fields that we know do not contain information for the moment, because we still need to launch the enrichment process in PMS for external users. Now, as I was explaining, at the beginning we had in our plan to release also the PMS API, the application programming interface. Unfortunately, 48 hours before the launch, we became aware of a big security issue that unfortunately was considered a blocker for us as a PO. So we decided, with all the regrets, not to release the PMS API in production for external users. We would like to ensure you that we are working very hard as a matter of priority, to enable the release as soon as possible for you as external registered users. And we can anticipate to you that according to the assessment reports and the meetings that we had with the different teams to fix this security issue impacting API registered users. The estimated date is early July, so it's a matter of 4 weeks to please allow us to fix the issue, retest it, and make sure that we can release it for you for use for external use. And by early July this year, you will be then, as I was saying, able to access CAPS and non-CAPS data view only. But again, you can have access to all non-centrally authorized products as well. So for the moment, it's postponed for only 4 weeks, but we will be communicating promptly and in due time via the usual EMA channel when this is going to be released. So the colleagues can be promptly access this system as well. Now, moving overall to the PMS data model, you might become by now familiar with the data model of PMS. This is actually a representation of the PMS IDMP data model. We just wanted to highlight a few important things for you to remind. The data model, in comparison to active NPD system, it contains more than 180 data elements. Most of these data elements are repeatable, so the minimum data set is usually 180. When we will be able to enhance the functionalities on PMS, so with the launch of the enrichment and the edits, you will be then in a position to submit much more information than what you can see currently in the PMS database. Of course, the technical and business specifications are reported in UAG Chapter 2. This chapter is subject to review and will be released, a new version will be released very soon for the registered users to get familiar and to be up to speed with the updated information. We have been, in the moment we are reviewing the ISO and fire paths, but also few RMS lists and few business rules. In particularly, the main focus for us is clarifying the level of structure of packaged item and packaged container and components, which was one of the most important points to clarify. Also, the level of the data structure of the ingredient compositions, and also regarding the manufacturing operation data structure. So this guidance is containing for the moment all the technical information you need regarding the repeatability, regarding the business use, which fire or ISO paths is to be considered, which is the correct RMS list, and for some lists, which are the terms that we only the things are the correct one that should be falling within the scope of PMS. And also, of course, we focus on the authorized medicinal products in an ISO-DMP compatible dataset. So for that, and for your information, please consider that what we've been delivering so far is totally in line with the ISO IDMP standards, which are currently subject to review. And for your information, we are also, as an agency, involved in this revision. So we will be also involved in discussion at the ISO-DMP group level to make sure that the changes that we have also introduced in PMS might also be important to be included in the next version of the ISO-DMP. For your information, something that differentiates PMS PUI from PMS API is regarding the data model. So the PMS product user interface, we can tell you that is completely aligned with the UAG Chapter 2, while the PMS API is not yet entirely aligned. When I say not yet entirely, I mean there are few relationships that we have introduced and we can anticipate in Chapter 2 regarding the manufacturer. So these gray boxes. So this class, you will be noticing that it's already aligned in the PUI, is already implemented, but is not yet integrated and updated into PMS API. So we are planning also to align this part according to the API. It's not something that will affect you, but it's something for you to be aware of. we will be communicating everything so you can be totally aligned with that. As you can see, there are different classes. So we have, as usual, the medicinal product definition, the regulatory authorization, the manufacturer, which are the gray boxes. Then we have data structuring regarding the packaged medicinal product definition. All of this information are now made available. So we really encourage you to register via IAM and to get access to product user interface. So you can get more and more familiar, and you will notice that what is in chapter 2 is really reflecting in the product user interface, and it's much easier to read. Now, in terms of fields and sources of information, the most important thing that you notice is we want to share with you is, most importantly, you will see that per each class or database, we have a bunch of information that are the results of the data migration to PMS from the currently available system, as you know, SciMed and XCVMPD. SciMed only contains CAPS products as authorized, while XCVMPD, just for those who are not yet aware, they contain CAPS and non-CAPS. So what we've been doing so far is been matching and merging all the centrally authorized products available in XCVMPD versus the centrally authorized product available in SciMed to make sure that the information are propagated correctly and are also accessible for registered users. So what you will see is that these boxes in blue are all the classes and set of fields where you will be able to see the data. We have data at the level of the pharmaceutical product, the route administration, the ingredients. At the level of the medicinal product, you will notice that some of these boxes are fully blue. It means that all the information that we will be able to migrate according to the migration rule explained in Chapter 7 UAG are now available in Products UI for CAPS, and future you will be also accessing non-CAPS via API. You will notice that we have also some boxes that are partially, let's say, blue, and those boxes means that for some of them, the data set is so big that unfortunately we didn't have any data to migrate. So for that, the initial load, of course, the outcome of the release was empty. You won't see any data. Will not be accessible via the PUI or the API in future, and it will be the main focus for us to allow you to enrich those data in order to make sure that all the boxes that you see now gray can become blue, can be fully completed by the irrelevant marketing authorization holders. So this is the most important part. Of course, this is mostly due to the high volume of elements that, of course, between XCVMPD, SciMed, and PMS, there is a difference of around 80 fields that are empty. Remember, some of them can be repeatable. So it means by the time we will be opening the enrichment process, you will also be in a position not only to complete the 80 fields, but also to repeat in some cases. It depends by the products that you have authorized. Now, how to access PMS product user interface. So if you had the chance to already read the documentation that we have been able to release, in chapter 1, version 3, but also in the SPOR onboarding of user or SPOR data services, and in the PMS product user registration guides, in this documentation, we have explained the process to request and to register and access a PMS product user interface. In chapter 1, you can also see the full process to register to PMS API. So we have been creating over Q1 this year a bunch of roles that you can see here in these slides. We differentiate between administration roles, industry roles, and regulator roles. So those roles are all now available in IAM production. So if you open your EMA account management account, and you look for one of these names like industry iris/plm industry admin, you will be able to find it. If you request one of these administration roles, either because you're in industry or either because you are an NCA and you want to access PMS, you need to first request the admin role, the relevant name, because this role will grant you grant you the privileges to um, approve or reject any subsequent role for access level 2B or 2A or level 3. So the admin role for the moment is equal to the SPORE super user. If you remember, for those who are SPORE user roles, is the role that grants you access, grants you the privileges, not the access to approve or revoke any request from your organization. You can either be an admin and a qualified user or a regular user. But if you really want to get access to the PUI pages, you need to request the regular user role or the qualified user role. So if you see in these boxes on the right side, you will notice that industry, MAHs or consultants, vendors working for the MAH can request one of these two roles. So there is the PUI industry user. This is considered the regular user role and is equal, according to UAG chapter 5, to level 2B. This role grants you access to a limited data sets of information per organization, and most of the information that they can access are information that are considered accessible for this category. So the commercially sensitive information are not accessible for this group. If you want to have a full access to full data sets of PMS elements, including the commercially sensitive information and personal data, the industry will have to request the PUI industry qualified user role, and this is equal, according to chapter 5, to level 2A. So it's the maximum level of information that you can access. If you instead are a regulator, so you are a national competent authority, you can only request a PUI competent authority user. This is equal to level 3, and you can access the full level of information for every medicinal product as authorized in Europe. So caps and non-caps by the time we will be releasing the non-caps information. This is still again according to UAG chapter 5. The only difference for NCAs is that the qualified user will not be available for the moment, but there is no difference for the moment between the regular user and qualified user in terms of read information, because those two roles have the same privileges. It means that they can read the full act, they can have access to the full data sets and full product as authorized. The difference of this role, and this is the reason we have decided to block this, that is linked to the edit functionality. So until we have not completed the and clarified the privileges and the target operating model, the processes for validating the products once these are submitted for assessment at the level of the authority, this role will remain hidden. So we encourage all NCAs to access directly with the PUI competent authority user. We will be communicating when the discussion has been completed and the process has been established, so we will be in a good position to also release the qualified user role for NCAs. For those who didn't have yet the time to access the documentation describing each single level, the privileges and the functionality released for these roles, please read UAG chapter 5 and Annex A to chapter 5, because Annex A is an Excel file that contains a very detailed set of information per each level, explaining which element and which group can be accessed. Now, A few more tips to keep in mind when we talk about the Iris PLM industry and NCA admin user role. So first of all, those colleagues who already have an existing assigned role in IAM, please be aware that the only thing that you should be noticing in your private IAM account is that the name has been changed. So we have been requesting in accordance, in agreement with the EAF and the EPI team to request an update of the name from IRIS EAF Industry Admin and IRIS EAF Competent Authority Admin, because this is affecting both categories. It will be changing the name to IRIS PLM Industry or Competent Authority Admin. So all you will notice is that this role has been definitely merged with all products that are hosted in PLM portal. So the roles that you have, if you have a roles in EAF or in API, all the privileges are already merged. So by the time you request the admin role, you will be able to grant the same privileges for all the products. If you have already your role granted before the 31st of May, therefore, you will just see your name being updated. Now, for your information, because we released this on the last Friday, 31st of May, I have been made aware by our IAM colleagues that for some existing users, the name in your account might not been updated, so you might still see the old name, and this will require a manual update from the EMA side. So please do expect in the few upcoming days that your role will be still the same, so still EAF industry admin, and will be manually updated by our IAM team after the go live, basically. This is for consistency. I still need to investigate on the reason why, but this is the main change you might notice in your account. Still, the privileges will remain, so you don't see any big changes. Regarding the admin roles, the characteristics and recommendation that we would like to highlight is that please do remember that this role is just an administrative role. So you don't have a direct access to PMS API or POI. It's a role that will allow you to grant and revoke the other PMS POI user roles. And in future, you will be able to request the API credential, client credential by an additional functionality available in IAM with this role. So that's why it's important that you can request it. The very first administration role assigned for each organization is always approved by us, by the IRIS/PLM EMA admin. This is also another role that we have created to facilitate the approval of this role for PMS purposes. And after that, any consequence request of admin role, so from the second onwards, for the same organization, will be approved by the first administration role that has been granted by us. So in this way, we ensure some kind of independence for you, and you don't need to rely on us. Then we recommend really to request at least two administration user per org ID. You can also have multiple roles for the same org ID, but please bear in mind that if you are an admin or you aim to request an admin, later on, either you request a user or you request a qualified user. Why? Because the qualified user, if you request both of them, you need to be aware that the privileges assigned to the qualified user will bypass or overwrite the privileges of the user role. And that's why we wanted to clearly explain that either you request one or the other role. Just please be aware that this is automatically overwrite if you request both of them. Another important information, if you are an admin role and you also aim to request either user or qualified user role, please be aware that you don't need to approve anything because the EMA account management system automatically recognized that you are an admin and therefore you are the one who can approve or reject any subsequent request, and it's automatically approved because it's connected to your account. So you don't need to do anything. By the time you request as an admin user or qualified user, in a matter of 5 minutes, we tested and it came out that in 5 minutes you can see already your user or qualified user role being approved automatically by the system. This will facilitate also your work. Now, regarding to the qualified and regular user roles for industry or either NCA, please be aware that these are completely new roles. These are the roles that are valid to access PMS product user interface. Those roles are not for accessing API. You can access by installing and validating this on a multi-factor authentication, so-called MFA. This is an additional system to verify your identity, and it's something that is deeply described in UAG Chapter 1, but also on the PUI registration guide, which is available on the PLM portal. There are characteristics also for these roles to keep in mind, specifically if you are already EAF contributor, coordinator, or manager. So, first of all, please remember that these roles are for read-only, so you can read only the data in PY. Each role is assigned to a single user per org ID, so is assigned at organization level. It is approved by the relevant IRIS, PLM, industry, or NCA admin, as I previously explained, is not approved by the EMA. It's your admin that can have the freedom to approve or reject your request. And what we would like to recommend is that please do not request multiple users for the same organizations. It means if you are already a qualified user, you don't need to request a user role because you have higher privileges. You can access all the data sets, and it doesn't make sense to request also the user because the user role, the regular one, it gives you less privileges. But by the time you request already the qualified, your privileges are overwritten. So please be aware, all of this is written also in the documentation. And for the same organization, of course, if you're working for two different organizations, you have the freedom to request the qualified user for one and the same qualified user for another organization, so as long as you don't mix the two roles for the same organization. If you have instead, if you are instead, as explained, an NCA, the only role that you need to request is the regular user. You will be anyway have access to the full datasets and to the full products as authorized in Europe. The qualified user role is not available and made available in AAM for the moment. Now, what I was explaining before, if you are already an EAF user, you need to be conscious that there are few synchronizations rules related to the PMS PUI roles. So if you are a PLM user and you already have been granted EAF contributor role, you can request the PUI user role. So this is basically the regular user. But if you are a coordinator or an EAF manager role, the role that you should be requesting is the PUI qualified user roles. You shouldn't be mixing the coordinator manager versus PUI regular user, or other worst case scenario, EAF contributor versus the request of qualified user. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't mix it because the privileges will be overwritten. So for the same organization, please be made aware of these clear rules for you when requesting the roles. And of course, if you are a PLM user, you can have different role per different organization. This is not a problem. The main issue is when you have for the same organization a specific role. So for that, you should be following the rule. Now, there is a registration process that we have developed for you. This is very similar to what we have been displayed already to at the PMS Info Day. So you should be first check if your organization is in OMS. If it's not in OMS, as usual, you should be requesting in OMS. You should receive your org ID, and then after that, you can check if you have an active EMA user account. If you do have, you can move ahead with the next process. You can log in as usual into your IAM account, personal account. If you don't have, you need to create. So this is the arrow on the top. And once this is being created, you log in, and then you will be able to search if you have if you can request, or you in some cases you might have already an admin role. It depends by the situation, but let's assume you don't have. So if you don't have, you can search for IVIS, PLM, industry, or NCA admin for your specific organization ID. You can request it, and if you're the very first admin role, the EMA will approve it to you, and you will be assigned this role. If you exist already an existing admin role for your same organization ID, it will be the responsibility of this role, this user, to grant you the access. Once the role has been granted, you will be able to access the tool. Now, until 48 hours ago, this slide was explaining also the process for accessing PMS API. Now we have been hidden, but for your information in future, you will be able to see an additional path in your IAM account. So if you are an admin role, you will be able to see, and this is reported in chapter 1, registration process, and a button. It's called request API access. This button has been now hidden or blocked by IAM account, so you cannot request any access for the moment until we haven't fixed the security issue in API. But by the time we will be able to re-enable this button, you can just click on it, you follow the chapter 1 guidance, and you can request all the credentials. So you receive the credentials by email, and with all of this information, you will be able to connect to the PMS API. But for the moment, just focus on the green boxes. So you have requested your role. Then you will be able to access the PMS product user interface. If you want to access this, you need to ask yourself, do I have an admin role? If I don't have it, again, I need to request it as per the process previously described. Or I need to check if I have already the role as a qualified or regular user. If not, I need to request it via IAM. You search request access, you search for the specific name, you submit your request, and then your role is going to be granted by the administration user. In this case, you can log into the portal and you can start reading your data as made available. If you have indeed your admin role, all you need to do is just to request your, again, in IAM account management portal, your qualified user or regular user, depending if you are an NC or an industry user. And then once this is granted, again, log into the portal. So it's not so complicated, but there are a few more steps that we need to take in mind when requesting those roles. And now we are now moving to a little demo explaining to you how to navigate through the PMS PUI and also API. So I will leave the floor to my colleague Marcos. Please, Marcos, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me share my screen very quickly. I need to get rid of this. So, as Veronica was explaining, I will try to walk you through the user interface. I will give you a bit of the. Am I sharing? No. Okay, now you should see my screen. Okay, so I will walk you through the product UI. So very quickly, we will make available these slides by as soon as we finish the webinar. Otherwise, tomorrow they will be there for sure, as well as the recording. So you will have access to the different links with the different documents and guidances where you can see how to get access to the product UI, how to navigate, etc. So very important, you have access to the EUIG, the introduction chapter, and then you also have chapter 1, chapter 5, and Annex A. So Veronica was explaining, okay, the chapter 1 is for the registration, and then how to get the data access and the data policy that we have for PMS. You can find it in chapter 5 and also in the Annex A. There is also the Spore guidance where you can see the onboard of users for the Spore, and then, and I will show you later, the product UI user interface guides. So here you have how to register, how to navigate, and the known issues that we have in the product UI. I will walk you through a quick um, um, demo on the user interface. So the user interface is located in the PLM portal, so you have already seen this a couple of times. We are in the PLM portal together with EAF, EPI, and also with PMS. As soon as you registered in IAM and you get access, you can log in. So I can log out actually here, so you can see how we can log in. You will get access to this window. You have important here the PMS news. You can, by clicking here, you have access to the news articles that we have for PMS. And here, if you want to be updated every time there is a new news release, I will give you later the link so you can register to get access. Here, you will always have the latest information in PMS. So, for example, here, the training sessions, the clinics that I will explain you later, the different guidance documents that we have. Um, you look on the PLM portal. So these are the news that we have for PMS. You also have here, sorry, in the PMS guidance, you also have the guidance document. So, for example, here all the different chapters from the EUIG, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 7 for the migration, chapter 9 for the deltas, but also very important, the ones for the product user interface. By clicking here, you can have access to the documents on how to register. This is what Veronica has already explained, and we have here a document where we explain the different steps to get access, the different roles, etc. Where you also have, sorry, in the PMS guidance, in the user interface guidance is the known issues. There is also another document here. Before raising a ticket, please check this document because we have identified a couple of issues in the product UI that we are solving, but it's important for you to know which are those issues. And also for the navigation, we have another document, and here you will see all the different sections on how to navigate. These are instructions on how to use the product UI, how to filter, how to select, etc., etc. Now, if you sign in, first you need to follow Veronica's recommendations, requesting access to IAM, then you will get the access granted, and then you will have your products. So we have here application form for those who have a role on EAF, they will have here the roles. for the EPI as well, and for PMS. We have products of my organization. I will click this here first. I will go to the other one later. So this is the landing page, let's say, of the of PMS, where we have the on the left hand side we have the filter criteria, and on the right side we have the table where we'll be displaying the different products. I can make different queries and different filters. I can filter by authorize those forms. These are coming from RMS. I can select on tablet, for example. I want the film quality tablets. I can filter by MA holder, by loc ID, by the authorization status. I can use any criteria that I want. I can click on search, and at this point, I will have the different medicinal products in PMS where the authorized dose form is film quality tablet. Take into account that for the moment, we only have CAPs, centrally authorized products. In July, the idea is that we will also have the national products, so MRPs, DCPs, and the pure nationals. Here you can see that I have in total 864 records, but for the moment I am showing only 10. I can load more rows, so in this case 50, and I click on load more here on the right, and I will be loading more and more products. I can also change the column visibility if I want to, for example, hide the full name and the active substance. I can just, the table will change. I can include the active substance again and the full name. I can also download this list, and I will be able to get this information. Take into account that I'm downloading only those that I'm showing. So here you will be able to see an Excel like this with the fields that you can see in this table, and then you can just create queries like, okay, for, I don't know, Alexion, I have these products, etc. You will have access only to those products under your organization. I'm logged here as a EMA data steward, so that's why I have access to all the centrally authorized products. Now, what I can do is start, for example, selecting different products because I want to select different products. I can use additional filters here, like, okay, filter by MA holder or by active substance. I'm not going to do it now, but you can do it if you need to restrict a bit the criteria. I have selected these products, but I don't remember now which are the products that I have selected. So I can click here on view selected product. And this way I will only see those products that I have selected. In this case, I have only 8. I can click here again, view available products, and I will see again more products. And I can continue selecting additional products or deselecting if needed. If now I want to see the data that I have for those products that I have selected, I can click on view data, and I will open a new window where I will see the products that I have selected. Something important that we have implemented is that in this window that we have opened, you will see the PMS ID and the name of the medicinal product. What you can also do is, for example, I can either click on another one, like, I don't know, for example, this one, and I will open in the same window, or I can select from the list here in this link, and I will open it in a different window. And you can see that I have as well the PMS ID and the name of the medicinal product. Now, what can I see here in this page? First of all, in this top menu, I can see the name of the medicinal product with the PMS ID, the country, the ME holder, the authorization status of the product, the version of the product, and when was last updated. In this case, on the 24th of May. On the left navigation menu, I have the different sections. It's similar to chapter 2 of the UIG. So we have the medicinal product, the packaged medicinal product, and the pharmaceutical product. And below those sections, I have the marketing authorization, therapeutic indication. I have the different subsections. I can hide the menu, so I have a bit more visibility on the data. What can I see on this data at the level of the medicinal product? The ID, the domain. Something very important that you have already asked is the EV codes. This medicinal product is linked to these three EV codes from XCMPD. Um, and you have this information here. You also have the name with the different name parts that I can expand, collapse. You have the information coming from either from Siamet or from XCMPD, depending on the field. Um, you have the ATC codes, the legal basis, etc., etc. Sometimes, for example, the medicinal product category, this is information that is not available in SciAmed or XCMPD, so users cannot see this data because it's not available. Depending on your role, for example, if you are a normal user, you might not have access to the manufacturers. So you will be able to see the section of the manufacturers, but you will have here a banner saying that your role doesn't allow to get access to this information. So you know why you are not able to see the data, either because it's not in SciAmed or XMP, or because you don't have the role or the privileges to see this information. We also have information on the marketing authorization, so the authorization number, the status, in this case, the CP number, the dates of authorization, the MA holder name, etc., etc. The therapeutic indications, these are coming from XCBMPD. This one is will have one indication. This data is not here because it's not in XCMPD, and therefore we are just saying that this is not that data cannot be seen. I'm not going to click on manufacturers because this is confidential information, but you would be able to see all the manufacturers coming from Siamet with the log ID of the manufacturer and also the business operation. We have the ingredients as well coming from Siamed with the different information. I will click on the active ingredient and you will see the substance code and the substance type. The manufacturer for the moment is MT. We also have the manufacturer items, and in this case, we have the film coated tablet and the ingredients as well coming from Siam. This is the information for the medicinal product. If we go to the packaged medicinal product, in this case, we will see that we have three packages with these three marketing authorization numbers with the pack sizes as a structured data because this is coming from Siamet. You also have the EV codes for each of the pack sizes. So on the medicinal product, I have the three EV codes concatenated. On the packaged medicinal product, I have the EV code for each of the pack sizes and the legal status of supply. I can download this information in case you need it, and you will see something like this. These are the MA numbers with the EV codes and the legal status of supply. If I continue, here you see the package description, which is a concatenation from Siamet. Okay, so this is the entity of the pack size. This is the package description. And this 21 tablets is the structured data of the pack size. I can have additional information like 21 tablet. You see the structured data. This 21 tablet is also here, 21 tablet. The shelf life, but this is empty because we don't have this information. And in the future, we also have the data carrier. And I have the same for the rest of the pack sizes. I can expand all of them. I can collapse all of them. I can play a bit with how I see the data. I also have the marketing authorization information for these pack sizes, the authorization status, and the different dates. Um, I have the package items. All this information is coming from Siamet. So in this case, I have a container, which is a blister, and maybe I have the material of the blister because this is information that I have in Siamet, sorry. So this is information that you can also check. Again, manufacturers, but I'm not going to click here. The manufacturer item, this is coming from Siamet. So here I have film quality tablet is the manufacturer item with the ingredients, and in this case, the ingredients are the same as in the pharmaceutical product because this is a tablet. So pharmaceutical product information, the route of administration that we, for example, here we have a bag. We need to check why we have four. We should only have one. Um, but still, the information is correct because we have oral use. And these ingredients are coming from XCVMPD, so you can check, okay, this is the strength that I have in XCVMPD with the substance code, and these are the different excipients that I also have in XCVMPD. So the same information might be, we will have it for other products, so pack sizes as well. Here I only have one presentation. I can navigate, and I will show you one example, which is, uh, there was one product that we didn't do the match and merge. So sometimes you can see that the EV code, for example, here is null. This is because for this product, we have not been able to do the match and merge between Siamet and XMPD. We are solving this issue, and maybe the problem is that the mapping between OMS and the XMPD organization is not correct, or there is something wrong. We are investigating this. As soon as the match and merge is done, we will have here the EV code of this product. That is not really a big issue because you can still create application forms for this product because this product is coming from Siamet. The only thing is that you will have missing information like the therapeutic indications that are coming from XCMPD. This is empty because as there is no link between Siamet and XCMPD, I'm not able to load this information. As soon as the link is done, we will be able to see this information here. So this is how the pages look like. You can navigate through your product, you can download different information, etc. But we know that you need additional information and being able to, let's say, gather information quicker to be able to do your analysis, etc. That's why we have here in the product management services the dynamic product reports. If we click here, we will be able to land in something like this, where we will be able to access BI reports. Um, in my case, again, this is EMA data steward, so I have access to all the centrally authorized products. In your case, you will have access only to the products under the organization you are registered with. In the products of my organization, I have here three tabs. These are all the products that I have access to, and on the right hand side I can do some filters. So I can filter by authorize those form, for example by this one, and then I will be filtering. I can filter also by MA holder. I can filter by all the different tables that I have here, and these are all the products that I have. I can export this information, sorry, not focus mode. I can export this data as a normal table, as a CSV. So then once you have exported this information, you can work with this, you can make your analysis, etc., etc. What else I can do? Sorry, back to the report. I have the medicinal products by MA holder. In this case, I have all the MA holders, first of all, here with the organization ID, the log ID, and the address. This is coming from OMS. And if I click on drill down, I will have access to um, all the products per organization. So, for example, in this case, Sentiva, with this org ID and this log ID and this address, I have all these PMS IDs, all these products. The information that you can export is the PMS ID, the full name, and the EV codes. This way you can make a relationship between PMS and XCMPD. Okay? You can navigate. Now, Beatrix, for example, I have all these products, etc., etc. So we'll ask you to check here. You can download information and check if you have all the products or not. Additionally, because we know that you might need to provide reports to management or because you want to have kind of reports, we have the product visualization. In this case, you will have access to something like this, where you will see, okay, how many products do I have by MA holder, by authorization status. In the country, in this case, we only have the centrally authorized products. That's why we cannot see here the graphics. When we have the NAPs, we will see more information. You have a report for the medicinal products by active substance. So, for example, for olanzapine, I have 80 products. For, I don't know, irbesartan, I have 33. You can have this information. Another one is how many medicinal products by dose form. So most of them are film coated tablets, but I also have here, for example, suspension for injection. And this is very big because we have all the caps for all the ME holders, but in your case, you will be able to see something more meaningful. And again, for the moment, only central authorized products. If I click on one company, for example, on Teva, now I filtered and the reports are updated based on this information. So I have these products for Teva with these statuses, with these substances, with these those forms, and for central authorized products. You have another one for manufacturers. Again, I'm not going to click because this is confidential information, but you will see your products. You can drill down and you will see your manufacturers, and you can drill down again and you will see the business operations. We will try to show you in the system demo that we have at the end of the month for maybe a fake profiling. We can do something that you can see the different reports, but it's similar to the ingredients. So another one that we have is for all the ingredients. It will be opened in a new page. In this case, what I will see is my products. If I drill down, I will see the ingredients, and if I drill down, I will see the strengths. So here I see all my products. I can drill down and see the ingredients. I'm gonna do this so you can see it better. Um, because we have, for in my case, I have a test product that I see here. So, for example, for this product, I have this is the status of the product. I have all these substances and the role. And if I drill down here to the strengths, I'm not going to do it because you will see the strengths of the excipients. You will see this information as well. Again, you can export this information as CSV, Excel, and work with it. And the last one that we have is for the packages, also very important for you. You will be able to export the information that we have for the pack sizes. So you will see here the different products with the status, the name, the log ID. If you drill down, you will be able to see, for example, for this product, I have all these pack sizes with the ID, the MA number, the status, the pack size as a structured data, and the package description. Again, you can export the data and you can also use some filters here if you want to filter in this big table. Um, so this is what we are also working. It's in principle we will be able to deliver it maybe during this month. We need to check. Is another report to support ESMP. So you will be able to see the ATC code of a product with the name, with the pack sizes that you have, etc. This will support you with the submission of data and also to check the data that you have to support ESMP. Um, in principle, this is all, so you can navigate through your products, but you can also check the product data or the report that we have here. Let me go very quickly to the presentation. So, we'll come back. So, what you need to do now is you need to request a role for IAM for your organization. You need to think if you need a qualified industry user or a normal user, or if you are MCA, then it will be the MCA user. And once you are registered, then log into the portal and navigate to check your products. Important tips: we don't really we would appreciate if we don't receive tickets saying, "Oh, I cannot see my NAPs." For the moment, it's only centrally authorized products, what you can see in the product UI. The idea is that in July, we will load the NAPs, but we will announce this whenever we start doing the load. If you don't see your product, then make sure that you are logged with the correct org ID, and also that the mapping between XCMPD and OMS is correct. Otherwise, we might not have been able to, load your data. You need to make sure that the conditions explained in Chapter 7 are met for the initial migration. So you have an authorized those form, a legal basis, the product is not nullified, etc., etc. And also make sure that you have clicked on search on the left-hand side menu that we have on the filters. Otherwise, the table will always be empty. While checking your products, you need to make sure that some caps were not matched and merged with the XMPD data. And this is something that we also solving during this month. So that's why you might only see the data from Siamet and not the one from XMPD. And if you see any discrepancy, any issue, etc., you can flag it using ServiceNow. But we please want to request you to provide as much information as possible. So we don't need to go and back, back and forward with you because we need additional information. So provide the PMS ID, the user role, the organization, all the information that can help us to identify the issue. And also, please read the known issues document so we avoid opening tickets for those that we already know. So, if you have found any issue with the CAP data, you can do it through Service Desk. Um, this is an example of how you can do it. You can go to Service Desk, click on Ask a Question, and here you have request information about the PLM portal PMS product UI. You need to select always one of the below elements. So for the service, you need to select either PLM portal or Spore. Depending if the problem is on the PLM portal, you select PLM portal, or if it's a generic issue for Spore, then you click Spore. And then on the service offering, you need to click on the PMS product data, product UI access, product UI functionalities, or product UI general. That is depending on where the issue that you want to flag is from. So if it's a problem with the product data, you need to click obviously on the product data. If you are not able to get access to the product UI, please click on access. If you have issues with the functionalities, I don't know, the search button doesn't work, or I'm not able to filter, etc., then select functionalities. And for other topics, please just click on general. And then if you have issues or questions for PMS, general PMS, the chapters, the IDMP, etc., then you need to select PMS and export on the service. If you have any incident, like I cannot, I don't know, the system is down, I'm not able to log in or things like that, then you can report an incident in the service desk. You report an issue, and there are issues for the PLM portal, PMS product UI, and this would be assigned to a specific team. Very quickly for the next steps, please, if you want to be updated with all the data, all the information that we are sharing, all the changes that we are doing, you can register for the quarterly system demos. We are doing one system demo at the end of the quarter together with the PLM value stream. You also have the PMS webpage where you can find the PMS overview, the EUIG. So please check regularly here to make sure that you are up to date with the information that we will be releasing. In the PLM portal, you have the forum and you have the PMS news page. So here you can always check the news, the release notes, the downtime comes in case there is any downtime on the system. We also have the Ask Questions forum, so you can have a lot of information on the PLM portal. And of course, you can always contact the industry and the network SMEs in case you have any problem or you want to raise any concern or anything, you can always contact them. I will just skip this slide 1 second. Every Thursday from this Thursday until the end of the month, we will have a Q&A clinics of half an hour where we will just go there and check if you have any questions. You can ask questions in relation to the product UI. please, because this is focusing on the product UI. I have issues. I suggest to improve this. I'm not able to find some information, and we will be there to answer your questions. Um, Very quickly, because we don't have time. These are the upcoming communications and engagements activities for PMS. So in May, we release updates on the chapter 1 and 5, and we went live with the product UI, and we are doing now the training session. Uh, in June, we will have the system demo. Beginning of July, we will do the API go live and the training for the API. In July, we will update chapter 2 of the PMS, the EUIG, and we are planning to go live with the naps in the product UI. Then summer, we will need to rest a bit, but then in September, we will come back with the system demo, the PMS webinars, the PLM newsletters publication. We will also be working here, you can see, on the enrichment process to support ESMP via PMS and the product UI, the API, etc. So this is mainly all the information that we will be releasing during this year. And important, we have the quarterly PLM newsletter. You can use this QR code to register and to subscribe to this the PLM newsletter, or with the link whenever we made available these slides. It's important, so please, the next edition is going to be published on mid-July 2024. It's important that you are subscribed to this newsletter, because this way you can get a lot of news that we will be releasing every quarter. Said that, I think we might have a lot of questions. So we have 15 minutes. So I think, Katerina, you will take over here, right?
Yes. Thank you, Marcos.
Okay.
So let me share my screen. And nice. So as Veronica said in the beginning, we will give priority to the most upvoted questions. So let's start with this one. If in XCVMPD the pack sizes under by one PRDC code are not informed, not in description or comment, should the MEH indicate now the pack sizes in this section, or wait for the writer PMS PUI function?
So I can maybe take this one. So for the moment, you don't need to make any changes to XCMPD, and you can leave the information as you have it. Take into account that to support the SMP for some products, you will need to split this record into different pack sizes, into different records, one per pack size. And there, we recommend you to include in the package description some meaningful information, like, I don't know, any national code for the pack size, and then a short description of the pack size that you have. It is not mandatory, but it will be important to do it, because then you will be able to identify the pack sizes also in PMS. But if you have more than one for the moment, there is no need to do it. We will also be updating chapter 3.2 of XCMPD with additional information for these pack sizes, because we see that a lot of people are making questions for this. But for the moment, we don't need to change anything.
Okay, thank you. Next, will there be a training videos published by the EMA for the qualified user, like for XCVMPD? Will there be an EMA certification to obtain? If so, when will it be available?
I can take this question. So no certification is needed or required for read-only product state in PMS. If you had the chance to read chapter 1, we clearly spell it out, but because we are in the process to define the edit and enrichment functionality, we do not exclude a certification might be needed for edit purposes only, but is not confirmed. So just for information, reading, no certification, and training material will also be further released on our pages just to clearly support the future user of PMS.
Thank you. Currently, in XCVMPD, pack sizes are included in a text field as a description. If you have to submit all the pack sizes at this level, will they be transposed in structured fields in PMS? What is the aim of this enrichment now?
Okay, so for caps, you don't need to worry because this information is coming from SciAmed. But for national products, the idea is that when you submit the pack size to XCVMPD, then it will be pushed to PMS. So that way, by submitting the pack size to XCVMPD, you have the pack size entity in PMS. The package description that you have in XCVMPD will be the package description in PMS. It's free text. And then we have the pack size as a structured data. So saying these are 14 tablets, and tablet is an RMS term, or 2 vials, or 3 pens. This structured data is not coming from XCMPD because we don't have a field for that. So that's why with the edit process, you will need to include this structured information in PMS. So the end of this enrichment now is to have the entity of the pack size coming from XCMPD, but then we need the structured data, and this has to be done through PMS. This is the difference.
Thank you. If XCVMPD data is updated, then what is the frequency of data sync between latest version of XCVMPD and its load into PMS? Also, in PMS UI, last updated date refers to last product data load from XCVMPD or product load from SciAmed, or how?
Yeah, so in principle, the update is mainly instantaneously. So in fact, what I've been seeing is that updates are coming like in, I don't know, 10 minutes or something like that. It depends on the queue that we have in XCMPD. If we have a lot of changes, then it might take a bit more time, but it should be done in the same day. Then the last update date, it's last update date. The change can come from XCMPD or from SciAmed, because for CAPS we have updates coming from both sides. So we just record the last update date.
Okay, thank you. What happens when MAH does not update the data in XCVMPD? Will the EAF not work? Will there be other consequences?
Well, what happens when a MA holder does not update the data in XCMPD? It happens that you are not following the legislation. There is a pharmacovigilance legislation, and in Article 57, it says that MA holders are responsible for submitting authorized product data and maintaining this information. So first of all, you would not be following legislation. Now, what would happen is that if the product is not there, then you cannot use it in the EAF. Even if the product is there, but maybe there are there is wrong information, it might depend on the information that is wrong. But in the future, I can tell you that then EAF might be rejected by NCAs, depending on the data that is wrong, and when we also have a structure changes in the EAF. So it's important that this information is up to date. Moreover, from the XCMPD team, we are making reviews of the products that we have in XCMPD, and if we find any discrepancy or any problem, we have the NCA's inspectors, and we send information to the inspectors, and then they are responsible and they are in charge of contacting the ME holder in case there is any consequences. They will also raise it. So it's better if you update your product and you keep them updated.
Thank you. Next, will you kindly remind when the NAPS data will be made available for read-only from the PMS PY?
Yeah, so we said it's planned to be done in July. The idea is that now in this PI event that we have to plan the Q3 changes, we will plan the initial load of NAPS in the product UI, and we want to do it in July.
Okay. From when is the data in PMS to be corrected and reached by the MAHs, and how? How do we avoid that the data from XCVMPD and SAMET is then not overwriting the corrections in PMS?
Okay, that's a good question. The idea is that for the moment you can only correct the data from XCVMPD. Let's say if you see that there is something wrong with the authorized form or something like this, you can check in and change it in XCVMPD if it was wrong also in XCVMPD. If you need changes of data coming from SciAmet, then you need to raise a ticket and saying, hey, this manufacturer is wrong or there is a missing manufacturer. You need to raise a ticket to ServiceNow. Enriching data, as you know, it can be done through XCVMPD. So, for example, pack sizes through XCVMPD. And we are planning how to enrich other data in the future, like, I don't know, storage conditions or any other information. And the thing is, enrichment of data will not be overwritten because for the moment we are only enriching data that cannot be changed or is not available in SciAmet or in XCVMPD. So this data will never be overwritten by the data coming from those places. And the idea is that you can start doing the enrichment of this data by the end of the year directly in PMS.
Thank you. Will you kindly share when is VMA planning the release of the updated UIG Chapter 2?
July as well. There was a diagram and it was in July.
Yeah, I think that was asked before, yeah. Next, some colleagues will work with the EAFs in PLM only. Will they also need a PMS UI role in order to create, edit EAFs, or is that optional?
No, if you only need to work on EAF, you just need to request the relevant EAF roles. PMS roles are only requested if you want to see the data in PMS, either PY already available or from July via API.
Okay. So we still have a few more minutes for questions, but before we go ahead, I just wanted to launch a quick survey to get your feedback on this session. We would appreciate if you could take the time to fill it in, as it will help us in shaping future sessions. So there is just a rating question to check how useful was this session for you, and if you feel you got the necessary information to start using the PY. And then there's just an open text question if you have any suggestion for other sessions and leave your general opinion.
Yeah, so people don't leave. I forget to mention something, so I will share. In the meantime, you can fill the survey and you can vote. I would like to share something that I forgot, and I think it's important. Yeah. So I forgot to say that we also have a public report on the PLM portal. You don't need to be logged in to access the full list of products that we have in PMS. So when I'm logged out, it's a public report. If you click on sport and medicinal products, you will be redirected to this page where you have access to the full list of products that are authorized in and that we have in PMS. You have this disclaimer with the access of data, and you will be redirected to this table where you have access to the full list of products that are authorized with public information, obviously. And also you have access to the pack sizes that are linked to the different medicinal products. For the moment, we only have caps, again, because we are in the PLM portal. In the future here, we will have all the products that are authorized in PMS. You can also use a couple of filters here and you will be able to get this information. So just feel free to navigate here. There is no need for a user here in case you need some information. you know that for XMPD, we publish every month the list of products, and we are aiming to do the same, but in you don't need to wait for every month. You can do it. You can have an access to those products directly in this report that we have in this page. I forgot to mention that, and I think it's important. You also have the date here when it was last updated. So yeah, this is the information that I wanted to share.
Thank you, Marcos. Useful indeed. So let's go back to our questions for just maybe we can answer a couple more. Oh, sorry. So, okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
okay, now I think it works now. Okay, last couple of questions. So, should we expect pack sizes for non-caps populated loaded in PMS? If yes, for caps data was migrated from SIMED, which is the EMA authoritative source for non-caps, not an XCV data element, and often lacking in SMPC.
But so if you mean pack sizes with the entity of the pack sizes, yes, the ones that are in XCMPD will be loaded in PMS. You have in chapter 7 the strategy that we have followed for the migration of the NAPs and the pack sizes. If you mean the pack size as a structured data, the one that I was saying, like 2 vials, 3 tablets, etc., this will be empty because we don't have the information in XCMPD. But the pack size as such, whatever we have in XCMPD will be migrated to PMS.
Okay, thank you. So my commands do not work, so let's just go here. Did we understand correct that the pack size has to be maintained in the PMS UI and not in XCVMPD? From well, will editing be possible?
Okay, no. So pack sizes should be maintained in XCVMPD. So you need to still follow the same approach in XCVMPD. For centrally authorized products, you need to submit the pack sizes to XCVMPD. For national products, depending on the country and where the marketing authorization number is granted, you also need to submit the pack sizes, or you can submit pack sizes for all your products in XCVMPD, and you need to maintain them there. We will take those records from XMPD and we will migrate them to PMS. So as soon as you make changes, you include a new pack size, we will include it in PMS. If you nullify it or invalidate it, we will do the same in PMS. So maintenance is done in XMPD. End of the year, you will need to maintain the pack size data, the structure pack size data, like again, 3 tablets, 2 vials, 1 pen, this information, structured data in PMS, because we don't have this information in XCVMPD. But the pack size as such should be maintained in XCVMPD.
Okay, so thank you for responding to all these questions. Our time is over for today, but we remind you that we have the scheduled Q&A clinics for this month every Thursday, where you will be able to ask further questions. We have replied to a lot of questions in writing in Slido, and we will publish these responses on the event webpage. But you will have for a start a lot of responses from today. So thank you, and I leave over to you, Marcos and Veronica, for closing.
Thank you very much, colleagues. We will definitely catch up at the Q&A clinics if you want to join. Thank you.